Hi y'all, I'm doing my to be reads for July and August since it's almost halfway through July and I have slightly large list. So the first one is A World Without You, which I'm currently reading, which is a sci-fi contemporary fantasy combo of a young teenage boy who finds out he can travel through time and then goes to a specialized school for people with powers like him. In the process of going to that school, he ends up losing his best friend in the past because she wants to see something in the 1600s. And the story is about him trying to cope with his powers and finding her in the past and not letting her be lost. The second one is Carve the Mark by Veronica Roth. I don't know a lot about it. My friend bought this and I asked if I could borrow it and she let me. So this is going to be a surprise. I know probably a lot of you already read it because it's pretty popular to be read for the last couple months. But surprises, surprises. Next is Glass Sword. I finished Dread Queen earlier this year, again with the same friend recommendation, and so I'm finally starting on this and possibly the third. I wasn't a huge fan of the first one. It had a lot of easy goings when it came to the storyline and it was pretty obvious, but I'm giving it a shot. I never put a book down that I say I'm going to read, so we'll see. The next one is another friend recommendation. It's The Dead by Mark E. Rogers. It's mostly about zombies and survival. I don't want to spread more than that because most zombie books are pretty similar and steadfast. It's a very uncommon read, and I was recommended this by the same friend's husband, who also recommended me another couple fantasy series that I really liked, so I'll take his recommendations where I get them. The next one is Waiting for the Dawn by Sonia Black. It is a same friend recommendation, but it's one of her friend's novels that she wrote, and she asked me to read it to show some support. So she's a local author that I'm going to read. I know it's fantasy, and that's a bit so far. I don't really read the backs of these. I generally just kind of look at the names, kind of glance over it a little bit, and read it. I'm not a huge any type of book person. I'll read any book. My favorite is horror and fantasy now, but anything gets my attention at this point. This one is Gunslinger. Not just because the Dark Tower series is going to a movie. I've been wanting to read these books forever. I'm a huge Stephen King fan, and the Dark Towers always seemed kind of scary because I didn't really understand how they combined, but I've read a lot of Stephen King over the last couple years, and I'm ready to take this on, and I have the whole set right behind me. So, to be read series. The next is Shadows and Bones. Now I love the Six of Crows, so I bought the trilogy from the Grisha series right after I finished it. I also have the sequel to Six of Crows 2 that I need to read. So that should be on this list, but so far the rest of these books besides Six of Crow is going to be on my to-be read list very soon. And the next is The Handmaid's Tale. This one is literally because I started watching the show. I had no idea what this book is. I didn't even know they had a book based off of it, but I fell in love with the TV show and I want to see who the creative genius of this TV show came from and wrote this from. So this follows the story of, I kind of want to say dystopian America in the future, where people are having a hard time having children and populations, and a religious group kind of takes over and takes it partially back to the 1700s, partially with technology of today, and it follows the story of a handmaid's tale whose job is to help repopulate the world through these rich families as kind of a surrogate mother. It's kind of messed up, it's kind of cool. I'm hoping the book and the TV show tie in enough so I understand why everything's happening, and I also hope that a lot of my questions get answered a lot sooner with the book, and I hope I don't ruin the TV show for myself, but we'll see what happens. And the last one is A Woman in Cabin 10, and this was recommended through Instagram. It's about a woman that gets lost on a yacht, and another woman who is also on said yacht or cruise saw what happened, and she tries to figure out what happened. No one goes missing on the roster. It was just, like she never saw anything. So her job, or duty as she feels, is to figure out what happened to the missing woman in Cabin 10. Now, I love books like this. The Girl on the Train was one of my favorites from last year that I read, and this is my, aesthetic when it comes to books, so I'm really hoping this lives up to the theme. The reason I had this last is because I don't have any of these in any order, but I'm really hoping to read this soon, and this is not the end of my to-be-read list. This is what I'm hoping to get done through August, and if not more. So I hope you enjoyed this. I can't wait for any more recommendations you have, and please be kind. This is my first video on YouTube. I usually do blog posts, which is under the same name under WordPress.com. So give a like if you have any, and comment any books you recommend for this year to be coming out. I know there's a few that I need to get, so like Flame in the Mist, which is a Mulan redo, which I'm really hoping to get very soon. So have a great day, and bye.